All right, we're live here Sunday morning, first weekend of March, gentlemen. Getting closer to spring here, and I got Brian, the main man Johnson. Casey is back, ready to go. Here, he's been 2 weeks in a row. Tyler McGurk, the baseball coach himself. Did he get to play golf yesterday? We're not sure. We'll get into that maybe how that was. Gentlemen, how are we doing out there? T, what's up?
I'm doing well. To answer your question, I got the golf. It's interesting being around Rod Brooks in public. It's like a video. I was like, this has to be tiring. Everyone coming up to you, and I was like, you're not even like a big celebrity. Like you're not even a celebrity, really. But like all the handshaking and
People like know him and stuff.
small conversations. I'm like, this is insane. I get so tired of this really quick. Yeah, I could be tiring at times, but it's just part of the job, I guess. I don't know.
I guess you have something to talk about today, Tyler, with Rod Brooks.
Yeah, the Deboo news. Yeah. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Did you small chat it up, or were you just like, yeah, I like to use that 7-iron here from about 120? Like, where?
No, we talked about sports. Talked about our kids and like whatnot, but mostly coaching and golf.
Now, you played at Sebastopol. Did you guys both play barefooted? That was the end.
There was no smoke coming from our bags. None of that. It wasn't the typical West Coast golf.
That's always my favorite part of Sebastopol. You always see a couple guys with no shoes on playing golf out there. They're just out there playing golf with it. That's cool, though. I mean, that's like one of those things, though, probably – like you just like you said, maybe not a celebrity, but in our world, he is more famous than most people. Because he does a radio show around the Bay Area, and he's on TV that talks Niners, and he's talked Raiders in the past. And he's not a small person; he's pretty tall. So he kind of stands out there. But that's cool. Like that had to be kind of a surreal experience for just a few minutes there. I mean, even though you've been coaching with him, you saw him in like a public setting with some of that stuff, and then just playing golf's a little different than coaching a team.
For sure. You're competing in a way, and he's very competitive.
Did you win?
No, we didn't keep score, but in my head, I think if we did, I won.
That's the answer we were looking for. Did Ryan play with you?
No, Ryan's out of town, unfortunately.
That's too bad. Casey, unfortunately. We can't top that except for you got a card.
My Medi-Cal.
We got the Medi-Cal, so we're back, baby.
But
we're back to better than ever.
I understand where Tyler's coming from. I mean, Darren, you've been a part of it. Like when I've been at the airport club, you feel like a celebrity when I show up. Everyone's saying hi, hello.
Hey, I know that guy. I did have somebody yesterday at Chapel Ball say I know your brother.
I saw that guy smoking on his lunch break.
I was like, you were with me. I was
what was it? The guy that was number 10 yesterday on the team. I don't know if you recognize his dad.
Yeah,
he was the guy that I actually somewhat his brother. I don't even know who his brother is, but he was there, and I always see him at the Wolf Pack once in a while over there once in a while. But so I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense. So. Yeah, Casey went. We my sons had a couple basketball games yesterday. Casey showed up for the championship game. Brian, we were all winners yesterday. Just second place for both teams. Tough finishes for. Though I would say Xavier's team. He didn't lose all year, so he had a good chance to bring home the championship. But he played a team that I knew was going to give us trouble because we only beat him by 3 the first time, and. I just knew there might be some issues if we played again, and I was like, when you score 10 points, you're probably not winning very many games. I know that for any level. So, and then Derek, his team definitely was the underdog, but I was surprised. To be honest, we made it to the championship, but he played well, and so shout out to them. But second place in both the boys, Xavier's team, the younger one. Tears are flowing because as soon as the other team wins, right? As soon as the whistle blows, usually, a championship game, the other team, they get all excited. And that's where it really hits a lot of them. But we were kind of getting blown out. So I think it hit a few of them probably.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of like when I played Tyler and he was on the Nets. And I felt like right.
Casey Field his oats this morning. His oats this morning.
I love to have that one over my best friend.
You got to have that one with you.
You'll have it forever.
No, this was even more like little screamish. Yeah, like the second, third, but yeah, same idea. Johnson, Sinatra-esque, as Tyler said before we got it. How are we doing out there? How are we doing?
Everything's going good. I don't have any complaints in Southern California. So
Oh boy, we don't want complaints. Do you have any complaints about this Niners trade with Deboo? I get a 5th round pick for the receiver. Is that good compensation? And then I hear rumors of, you hear people now saying maybe Ayuk in a year or so after this, like, that his value is probably low. But let's just start with Deboo before we get too far into that. There,
I mean, I
don't know.
wasn't shocked. I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
so
we knew it was coming.
I wasn't like upset or anything because I feel like they're taking most of the salary, and we usually get good players in the 5th round, so it could end up turning out to be a good player that we get. So I'm actually really excited to see what the Niners do in this draft, like what kind of players they take and what they do moving forward.
Tyler, you feel the same?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm not overly critical of this trade because, like I've mentioned before, the Niners want to run the ball. You can't have 2 big contracts out wide in a 49ers system and Shanahan system. You need one, and they have that in Ayuk. I think Ayuk could get traded as well. And because of the cap, they need to fix this cap thing. They need to build a team how they want it built, and I think that's going to be in the trenches with Purdy just getting timely first downs and running the ball a lot. And Deboo didn't fit that anymore. I think it's a great trade for the Commanders as well, because if you have Jane Daniels going right and then Debo's taking it left and just one misstep, that's a lot of speed coming at you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of misdirection in Washington. So I think it's a good trade for both teams. Niners need to free up some cap. Commanders get a good player in Deboo that makes that offense a little more dynamic.
Yeah,
And I was actually looking into if IU got dealt, it actually wouldn't be an overly crazy cap hit if he did it. It would be only $18 million if we traded him to a team this offseason. So
I wanted to ask you guys though, kind of, I guess, on a bigger scale, Casey, get your thoughts on it too. But I was looking over at Deboo. I was looking at Debo's stats. I'll just get them up. If you guys are watching on the big screen, you can see it a little easier. But the one thing I noticed 2001 was his only All Pro year. He didn't. His most receptions was 77. He did have a great year rushing that year with 8 touchdowns as well. He was kind of an interesting player, but I do feel like he lost a leader in the sense of maybe not a leader the way he finished last year. You could tell that it was on the brink, but I guess what my point is you kind of lost a guy that at least was an identity player and made you guys very good the 6 years he was on your team, or at least the first 5. He kind of like that's what I mean by an identity player. He was physical, he was tough, he ran the ball as a wide receiver. You had all your running backs go out, I remember, for a period of time, and he just took most of the for a period of time. I felt like he was a rock piece for you guys. And I mean, obviously you saw some diminishing stuff last year, but at the same time, part of you has to, I would think, he was a great Niner. I thought he was that's my takeaway. Case, did you feel that way from afar?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of spoke on it. It's like, you come down to this point and you're going to lose players, right? You go this deep and so many Super Bowl runs, playoff runs. Debo's been a staple for the Niners. I mean, when you watch him play, I mean, just from afar, just being an NFL fan and, just being from the Bay Area, Debo is like how you want to see someone play football. Just balls to the wall. Just gives everything he has. Last year, obviously, was disappointing. He spoke out, had that game that Brian spoke about a couple times where he had that big drop, and just things just didn't seem to pan out the way that the early success they had. But I think Brian had the quote of the day yesterday, and I texted him right away, and I was like, "Hey, Brian, Debo got traded." He goes, "Man, you're like a drug dog for the Niners. Bad news." He's like, "You're just you're sniffing for bad news." But
not a fan of that.
I think it's a great trade, like Tyler said, for Washington. I think you got McLaurin now. I mean, they're just kind of building right now, and to get a veteran like that who's not past his prime, but I think is Oh,
on the end of
the
it.
nature of his position and the physicality that he's played, he's probably towards the back nine of
He's
his
like
career.
29, base 28. He's gonna be 29 here shortly. Yeah,
But
no,
I like it though. I mean, like you said, the cat flexibility it kind of gives the Niners, wide receiver. It's a little easier to replace skill positions than it is like interior guys like offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers. But yeah, I mean, it's just give or take, right? I mean, I thought Debo was a hell of a player for the Niners, one of the best, and I think they'll miss him vocally, leadership wise. But you can always replace that. And, you got Bosa and the core guys still there with Purdy and McCaffrey, so it'll be all right. I think it's just a big move actually for Washington more than anything.
what do you think though, Tyler? Of what I said of like him being kind of a rock piece, like he did make 2 Super Bowls with you guys. He did have some like great moments, and he was a different player. It felt like in the NFL for a little bit there.
I think he was the Niners' identity for a couple of years. Like he was walking out with the boom box with Trent Williams. Like he was in the front lines. I think Kittle also served in that role, and Fred Warner and Trent. I think it was those 4 who were like the guys you looked at as like these are the Niners, and this is what they're about. If you look at their skill sets, they can do multiple things. They're very good at what they do, and now he's gone. Like you brought up the stats. The thing about Debo is he was averaging 18 yards a catch.
Yeah,
Everything since then has been like 12, 13, 11. Everything was behind the line of scrimmage and yak, and there was no downfield presence anymore with Debo. So, like, it sucks, and I love Debo. He was one of my favorite 49ers of this team, like this generation of 49ers. And now he's gone. It's time to move on, and I think hopefully Pearsall can pick it up and maybe get a late-round pick that can do some things Debo can do.
Yeah, his career went 14, basically 12, 18, 11. 2023 averaged 14.9 yards reception, and then last year 13.1. So not like necessarily the big play.
I guess my final thought would be that I just feel like there's certain positions on this team that needed to be kind of rebuilt, and we need to get younger in. So I think that's what we've kind of had our run that we had with the certain players, and now it's time to get younger and move towards the future.
Well, what's the guy, Ricky Pearsall? He's got to step up. He's one of them, right? He was a first-round pick last year, so they're obviously depending on him to do more. That's got to be, and then like you said, maybe they get somebody else in the draft. Debo, I was thinking through like wide receivers in your guys' history. Your recent ones you had, is he better than Michael Crabtree?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so he's better than him there at that. Is he? And then who's some of the other ones that were your next level? You had him. Is he better than Vernon Davis?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, so they're at that.
You think so, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I Vernon Davis had a 2-year run, but I feel like the overall like makeup of their games, I feel like Debo was better.
But I feel like it's a weird history of Niners like receivers a little bit. So I mean, I don't think
Jerry, T.O., and everybody else.
Is he better than John Taylor? I mean, is it John?
Yeah, I was just looking up John Taylor's stats. His numbers are better than John Taylor. John Taylor won more, but.
So Brian's given the no. That's no chance there with big Uncle John there.
Brian,
I feel like John Taylor did it all. He like returned kicks, and he had that clutch touchdown against the Bengals. I feel like I would definitely say John Taylor is underrated in 49er history.
Brian, how many times do you think John Taylor caught over 45 balls?
They didn't throw as much either back then, though.
And he had Jerry on his team. There's a lot of reasons that this is what it is, but the Niners don't throw a lot now compared to most teams.
I got a lot of lists I see go Rice, Owens, Taylor, Dwight Clark, Samuel, Ayuk. Those are the ones. Those are like the top 6 I see that you guys had.
I feel like you got to put Kittle over Ayuk.
Yeah, probably so. How about J.J. Stokes? I mean, no, I'm just kidding. So
I remember Sporting News made that they did like an illustration, and one of them had bricks on his hands.
Yeah, I have his UCLA rookie card if you want. If you have any interest in that one, Brian, I got it for you.
And it's signed.
Brian, what's with your Raiders QB rumors? I'm not like I'm getting all these texts from you. I feel like he's going to Stafford's there. I'm that in Santa Cruz at a science
It
camp.
was really close. They offered him more money. He took less money to go to the Rams. So
It was all. Was it just all? To me, it was just all fake news. What I don't know what it is. What was this? The rumors there with it, like. So I guess now what do the Raiders do after this? Is it back to the same old thing? I'm hearing Rodgers is a possibility too. Like I don't know.
I just think you're going to end up trading up in the draft and getting somebody. That's just my final prediction.
I don't know. I mean, what are they trading up? What they want to give up more picks to move up a couple spots? I guess so. I guess at this point, but
But you can't just stand pat like you did last year and come out with it without a quarterback. Go, well, we got another position, but we're still without a quarterback. I don't know. I would just if I'm a Raiders fan, I'd be extremely disappointed if they just sat at 6 and just let all the quarterbacks get taken again.
Yeah,
it's not a good QB draft though. Like that's the thing. Like
that's why I don't know if I want to trade
Sanders and like Jackson Dart. I don't know.
Cam Ward's an interesting one to me.
He's the one I trust the most, but I think he'll be the first overall pick. Like I don't think he's going.
I think the Titans are trading out a 1. I just feel it.
That'll be
interesting. They're giving up 3 first-round picks to get Cam Ward. I don't know. That seems like a lot. Yeah, that's what the going rate is.
Who do you want then? Sam Darnold? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'd rather for a couple of years. I'm not trading 3 first-round picks. We did this with Trey Lance. If we didn't trade for Trey Lance, we'd have a Super Bowl.
But Cam Ward has more experience than Trey Lance did in college. He's a better quarterback.
Okay, but I wish we had your tapes from 4 years ago when Trey Lance was getting.
I just don't think I could give up this first-round pick, which is a pretty high one, 6, right? And then you give up next year's, which is probably going to be bad. And then that's my. But Brian, I am with you. Darnold does not.
You still don't have a quarterback.
Aiden O'Connell, just keep building around them. He'll find that magic.
Aiden O'Connell's a bum. Let's be real.
I think there's a good chance they end up with Geno Smith. I feel like that's coming down the Raiders. We're going in with Geno and Camp Casey. That's what it is. But so they miss out on Stafford. That would have been.
I'm gonna put all my chips on the table. The Raiders are trading up.
All right, I like it.
Right. If the
Doritos, Pringles.
I don't think they have to trade up.
Brian, if the Raiders trade up and they give up 2 first-round picks or 3 first-round picks, me and you are going at it like Schultz and Ian Rappaport in his.
Cam Ward better be damn good. He better be damn good.
Well, at least you have a franchise quarterback behind somebody you could build around. You haven't had that since Derek Carr.
No, he doesn't count either.
But just because you draft a quarterback,
he does count because he took you guys to the playoffs at least. I mean,
playoffs? What are we talking about? Sam Darnold got to the playoffs. He had a better record than Carr ever had. That's my point with these things. But I hear you. I'm just messing with Carr.
I'm not trading up to go 9-8. That's all I'm saying.
They got Carr in the second round. Maybe they get somebody like that, like Milroe or something. Maybe he slips in the second round, or I don't know. From Alabama, maybe they get him or your guy, Jason. I like to hit darts, I mean, that's I don't. I mean, maybe that's who they go with. I mean, you know what I mean? Would you rather have that than trade up?
Let's just say it like this: if you don't trade up, Casey, you're doing 100 push-ups on this show because it's going to be the same It's going to be the same stuff with the Raiders next year if they don't get a franchise quarterback.
I mean, I agree with you, Brian. I mean, you need a quarterback in the NFL, obviously. I mean, we saw what Gardner Minshew was. We saw what Aiden O'Connell was. I mean, it's tough. If you don't have someone that can throw the football more than 10 yards, you're screwed. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. It's abysmal to watch. It's really hard to watch. I mean, everyone knows you need to have a quarterback, but I just don't know if giving up that many picks when you're set up for the next couple of years to maybe be in the top 15 of a draft to give up those picks. Because if you're giving up those, future first-round picks, I mean, you're literally sacrificing a future that I don't know if the Raiders' depth is that deep where they can afford to give up those picks.
Yeah, that is the biggest issue with them. But They did, and they don't hit very often, but they did hit last year. They got a tight end, but they definitely need to go in more than with Big Aiden as number one. I definitely would agree.
I guess you could go the way that Matt wants and go get the Boise State running back. So
yeah, I wouldn't mind that getting Ashigenti. I thought about that because after they let go Josh Jacobs, I mean, you saw the running back. I mean,
they definitely could use some explosiveness out of that position. Just don't draft an offensive lineman for Leatherhead, whatever.
Or don't do Gallery over Fitzgerald. That was so bad.
They're the worst at drafting. Like we've
done it.
They're the worst
like the Warriors regime with Gary St. Jean.
What a punter and kicker they have usually. What a punter. That was, remember when we would do Madden? Like those were like the only two Raiders we would select high most of the time. It was maybe McFadden his rookie year, and then we would get Leckler. You'd have to get Sebastian because kicking was so important, and his power was so much better than anybody else's.
I mean, me and Darren used to call him beer nuts.
Beer nuts over there with it. So the Raiders, the QB rumors continue to fly. They miss out on Matthew, and maybe the wife was the difference. Tom was like, "No, we did not know. We did not.
We don't want a woman throwing pretzels.
We do not want that in Vegas. We do not need that." It would have made no sense to me from his standpoint, Tyler, to leave the Rams after. I don't know. I was like, "What are we?" That was the thing that would surprise me the most. I'm like, why would he even want to leave LA and go to like the Vegas and the Giants? Those are like two of the worst franchises in 20 years. Like, why would you go to those two teams? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe A-Rod comes out of retirement. Tom can motivate him. They can be out in Vegas playing the slots, and he ends up.
I don't know if I'd want Rodgers at this point. He's washed.
It does seem like he's. I mean,
I'd take him for a year.
I don't think he's washed. Yeah.
Would you take him or Sam Darnold more?
Look what he did to the Jets. He sent them back 5 years now. He didn't do anything with them.
No,
5 years.
I disagree with you, Brian. That's the Jets. The Jets go quarterback.
But it's like he took over, and I'm going to be the GM. He brought in all these really bad players. Like I think he set him back 5 years by his decision making.
Woody Johnson had his grandson playing Madden shooting players. So I don't know how much to blame Rodgers for this. I mean,
I like how the players.
I just don't know how Rodgers doesn't get a blame for it because he was the one that he got the coach fired. He got all these players he wanted, and he still couldn't win.
What a Cal Berry was, though. What a Cal Berry.
I'm not giving him a pass by any means, but I mean, you got to look at the franchise, right? I mean, at some point, it's like they gave him an F. Woody Johnson got an F.
He's a control freak who's a douche.
So you'd rather have a Geno Smith over Aaron Rodgers? You're telling me if it came down to that? I'm just saying, Brian. If it came down to that,
I just feel like a 1 year. If you want a 1 year quarterback, yeah, I'd want Geno over Aaron Rodgers.
Interesting. We'll see. Maybe Aaron Rodgers goes out to Oregon, stays in the dark for 60 days, and maybe he comes out a new man. Again, one of the oddest documentaries of all time. So the Raiders rumors continue to fly there. We'll see the running back part, like Matt says. I could see that being. That could be the pick, but I'm not sure on that too. So, is that Tyler's stopwatch that did this, or is that my stopwatch? That's
my watch.
That means I got to move on from the Raiders topic.
Control that heartbeat, Tyler.
Control that heartbeat over there.
I don't use one of those. That's a normal G-shot.
Your heart rate is normal. Drink more water. They got that one. So moving on to NBA a little bit. Warriors, they lose to the Sixers yesterday after a 5-game winning streak.
I'm going to be sarcastic. Is it time to hit the panic button, Warriors?
Yes. And Embiid was out. Who scored 40 on him yesterday?
Quentin Grimes.
Didn't have that one in the cards, but he scores 44.
He was unreal.
He was pretty good.
He missed more free throws than field goal attempts.
Derek was giving him lessons on free throws for a little bit. On that part. Curry does hit 12 threes in the game before in Orlando. They were down, even with Curry's half-court shot, like 14 and a half to them. And they came back and beat them, Orlando. So, obviously, you go on the road, things change a little bit. The games obviously usually get a little tougher. Curry, magical game, like we said. I was thinking about Dunleavy this week and how I was pretty harsh on him going into the trade deadline. Probably more than pretty harsh. But I was kind of ripping on him pretty good. I think I'm pessimistic to go to the McGurk route at the beginning where I just go all in the first 6 games. I kind of want to give it a little bit more time. It's been a good start. They lose to Philly. They've had the couple, but they've definitely played better basketball. I think that's the one thing that the Butler thing you can see now. Casey with a legit second score, Curry has way more time to be able to do stuff with it as well. So you got that with Curry. Tyler, what do you think? I'm not willing. I'm not going to put my soul on the line yet. That's a little hint of something we might talk a little bit. I am not.
So you're like more like Cody Rhodes. Screw you, Rob.
I am not apologizing. I am apologizing for maybe not thinking it was a good trade at the beginning because obviously I was wrong about that. But I still have my doubts in some areas, but they obviously look a lot better as well with that. So I don't know. What do you think, Tyler, about that?
I agree with most. I was a little overboard in the beginning of the season. I didn't really like the Jimmy trade. I didn't understand how good Jimmy was. And I think yesterday, even pointed it out even further how good Jimmy Butler is for this team. Because we went back to the same way of losing. As soon as he didn't suit up, I was like, my God, Steph is great. Everybody else can't do anything. Quentin Post played all right. He missed more shots than he normally takes.
He's actually been great, though, real.
Oh, yeah. He's
for
a big guy who can
50-second
move
pick
and
or
shoot.
something.
And,
Wasn't he taken right after Bronny James, too, I think? Or right before?
So. Right before,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been great. But going forward, this team has such a weak schedule going forward also. I mean, this was a tough loss, but they got the Hornets. The Knicks were good. Then the Nets, Pistons, Trailblazers, Kings, Knicks again. Nuggets will be tough. Bucks are tough. Then Raptors, Hawks, Heat, Pelicans, and Spurs to end the season. That is a who's who of garbage.
I thought they would have beat the Sixers, though.
No, you would think. But Jimmy Butler didn't play.
That's what I'm saying. If they don't play, that
changes. Healthy. If we're not healthy, it all goes out the window.
I think.
But when Butler plays, we're really good.
I think too, Tyler. Nick Nurse has Steve Kerr's number. Man, he knows how to guard. He knows how to guard Steph Curry.
He does. He does do really.
He doesn't let him get shots up. I don't know how Nick Nurse does it, but he just was like, I mean, Steph only had a couple shots in the third. He's just like, I don't care. It's a box. He ran a freaking.
He goes boxing one. I know. You'll see that. You're like the NBA. You can go boxing one. I know that's great. It is a good point though with Nurse. I mean, I think Kerr doesn't make him a better coach here or there, but he did beat him in the finals. But I do think from a defensive strategy, you're right. Nurse does have he has a good feel for how to defend Curry to a certain point. I mean, it's still Curry, and it really more depends on his teammates. I think that's what Nurse does really well. Is he actually does a better job of pointing out the other players' weaknesses because of how he guards Steph. The way they shield him on certain things forces other players to make plays. And this, if your players that aren't used to it making plays have to make plays, you're not going to be as good. That's just kind of. And so I think Nurse does do a good job with that. But do you apologize to Dunleavy for the trade or anything like that, or did you think it was a great trade anyways? You don't owe him an apology.
You coming at me, D?
I'm coming at you.
I think it was a great trade. I mean, Dunleavy.
Rip it off, Mike. Come on, do it. Get it out.
I want to see buttons fly.
I saw that picture on Twitter with somebody putting a foot in his face. So.
No, not this week, Brian. We're taking it out this week.
So Darren, I'm gonna make you guys go. This is way back in the machine. So I was watching our popular episodes, and it was me, you, Mom, and Xavier. And Xavier's young on this one, and we're talking about the Warriors and the trade and everything. And man, it's just whatever happens with Steph, man, it's just if they don't have a number a number 2 that can score. They can't win. It's hard. I mean, Draymond does everything he can, but he needs a number 2, and Jimmy Butler gives him that. And I think Dunleavy giving him that potential of like, hey, we can go win an NBA Finals now because we have a scorer and someone that knows how to play the game. I applaud Mike Dunleavy for the thing. At least he's trying, right? Schroeder, he tried. That didn't work out, obviously. But at least
that was awful.
But at least that contract gave him what they needed to get rid of to
No doubt.
Butler.
No doubt.
So,
it was the move before the move.
Yeah, so I like Dunleavy. I mean, it's easy to ridicule someone, especially after a Bob Myers, after everything he pulled through. But give him credit. You got a big fish for the Warriors, man, and it sets them up for the next 2 years. And so I love it. Like I said, it's fresh. It's entertaining. And you can see the drop-off, man. Pods and Moody and Gee and it's just it's not there.
No
man.
Lindsay though. No Lindsay. No
Lindsay.
I call him Lindsay. No Lindsay out there for us. You mentioned finals just real quick. I just wanted to get this on. This was Kerr yesterday, kind of his press conference, talking about. Somebody asked him about the finals. Like, could you guys win the finals?
Look at that T-shirt.
Right. So what was the question? Bench players in the finals?
Their performance. Do you think it will be enough? This year's bench players' performance is the finals.
Yeah, we would like to make the playoffs. Talking about the finals? We just want to make the playoffs.
And also your former.
Let's not talk about the finals. Okay.
But also your former.
I was like, well, the little Jim Moore action there, little Jim time. Finals? What do you mean finals? We're not making the finals.
I think you guys need to thank my Lakers because of them. You're in the 7th seed right now. We beat the T-Wolves for you, so.
I will never thank the Lakers ever.
Rooting for LeBron James.
That's gonna be like Shanahan in like week 15. We just want to make the playoffs,
and we're a game out of the 2 seed, and we're going to pass Denver.
And when we right now, I look at the standings now. The Warriors are they're half game back of the Clippers for that 6th seed. That's really where you want to get to. Right now, they would play the Lakers in a matchup. That would be an interesting matchup in the first round, given if they were all healthy with Butler as well. Because Butler gives him a defensive guy that could a body on James, not necessarily guard him. And hopefully Kuminga gets back soon and gives us another body, and maybe he fits a role a little bit. But I guess
out of there. I'm tired. I can't watch him.
He's just like because sometimes he'll play really well, like what I mean, like on the floor game, like he'll he'll have some like weird passes. But you're right, he's just too inconsistent at times. It feels like he's like scattered out there. I'm like, where's he going here on these things?
They should have just thrown in Buddy Hield in the trade, just to throw him in there.
Get Buddy. Somebody take Buddy off.
Just take him. His pass is horrific. Oh my God! Like he's got to be the worst passing guard I've ever seen. Like he can't pass.
He can't pass.
He can't. He's terrible. Like it's awful. Like it's. I mean. He throws. I can't watch him between him and Pajenski. Like I just have a hard time watching. I'm just like, here we go. I'm like, it's going to be a charge, a block, or it's going to be a turnover. Like that's how I feel every time those two guys.
Big Pajenski, we get him out. So they're the 7th seed right now, half game behind the Clippers. They're 5, I think, out behind Houston for the 5 seed. Any chance? I mean, how confident are we that they get an automatic playoff bid? Is there any chance they could get to the 5 seed? Tyler, what do you think of that?
They could because of how easy their schedule is that I pointed out.
Well, do you think they will? That's the question. Put your chips on the table, as a great man once said.
I think they'll get to the 6th seed. I think they'll be in the 6th seed.
It's better than putting your balls on it.
Fake dog. Don't want that. That analogy was a little rough. So you have them get to the 6th. Houston would be 5. They play Houston one more time, so not. Obviously you could gain game there, but
I don't think they're getting 5 games.
But if you look at it, they could easily get to the 10 seed or out of the playoffs too. I mean, Phoenix is really collapsing, but I mean, if we say that Phoenix continues that way, I mean, they're a half game behind being the 10 seed, so it is kind of crazy right now where they fit with some of that stuff. So, Case,
I got them
on the table. Where do you got it?
I can see Casey. Yep, the 5th seed, no problem.
Finals. That's
Nah,
all
I'm
I
not putting my huevos arrows on those, right? I got them locked in at number 6. I
All
think
right. They passed the Clippers or something.
the Clippers will. I think they'll be in that playing game. I think the Warriors, like Tyler said, their schedule's super soft. I think Jimmy, just the play with Steph coming on, he was averaging 22 before Jimmy. Now he's averaging about 30. So I think they're locked in at number 6. I think that's as high as they'll get.
So they go at Charlotte, at New York, at Brooklyn. They got to go 2-1, right? They can't go 1-2 on that run. That has to be they
Or
can't.
maybe 3-0.
Whoa! Yes, and they better not lose to Charlotte. That better, after seeing that perform, they better. I don't care if we're on the road. You do not lose to that team.
I just want every day to be February 27th for Steph.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what a performance, though. 12 threes. He hit some ridiculous shots, too. Some of those step backs, it's like the time you have to go into practicing that. The strength. I mean, like, that's the thing, too, is like when you shoot a three, like from that far back with your, like, to have that balance, like, there's like some unreal core strength there at the same time to be able to shoot a ball like that. So that always amazes me, that one where he kind of backpedals right-handed and then just like shoots right off of it. Like, I'm always like, that shot always amazes me the most. But Orlando, they were running wild on him the last few. They were jumping at threes, and they were the definition of flying by, and he was just then wide open on a couple of them. So special performance from Curry, and there's nothing like a Curry flurry. There really is. There is nothing like it when he's going. That's entertaining basketball at a high level. On fire.
It's like when the McFlurry machine is working.
Yeah. What do you mean it's not working? It's down. I gotta get.
I love the coach for the Magic when the reporter asked him, he's just like, aside from Steph Curry getting, is there anything you could have done that, he goes, the man had 56 points.
There is no aside.
That was the reason we lost. Brian, do you have a fact of the week?
Yes, I do. They're actually talking. I think they're more talking other than his threes. They're talking about one-handed dunk that he did, and they're like it was pretty magical, and just seems like right now he's putting that Superman cape on and going jump on my back. So.
And he said that he declares it's his last dunk. That's what he said in a quote. He said that's going to be his last one. Chris Mullin for the rest of his career from this point on, just the layups.
His last dunk was what they say 2019.
I could see why.
February 21st.
And then my other topic of the week was it doesn't look good for the Sixers. Embiid's done for the rest of the season. So
yeah, they just need to play the Warriors, I guess, every week and get Mr. Grades in there.
Yeah, like that was the most frustrating part.
44 points. He had 8 less than Curry, or 12. I mean, like Curry had 56. This guy gets 44. You're like, what's going on here?
Dude, we lost to like literally 3 players. I would say we lost to Oubre, Grimes, and Yabusele.
That sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, damn Yabusele guy just kept hitting clutch 3. I was like, someone get a hand in this man, please.
That's where Steve Kerr got out coached. He puts Draymond Green on Quentin Grimes. He has 40 points. I'm like, yeah, I should have done that like freaking 20 points ago, dude.
I don't think he wants to chase him around for a half.
Probably not. It's never a good feeling.
That's your job.
That's why
these guys don't like doing their job. We've seen that over and over again.
Just like Bill said, do your job.
Do your job. Bill, and they got a good game out of Gary. Got a good game out of Santos. So they got some performances. Looney played all right. His plus minus was pretty bad, but Pod's case 2 for 8, minus 16, 5 points on the night. But yeah, they just couldn't get another big performance. They had their bench actually played pretty well. So
give me Buddy Hield stats, Darren, if you have it in front of you.
Yeah, I got buddies for you.
3-9, 0 for 6.
Yeah, from 3. 3 turnovers, 3 assists.
Plus 3.
2 long rebounds. 2 long
Off his own misses.
0 for 6 for 3, buddy. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to. We need you to hit a couple of those, buddy. We win the game there. So that's the NBA kind of look at the Warriors. We'll see kind of where they're at next week. We're down to 20 games about in the season here. And let's see if the Warriors got a big next 3 games. Can't go one.
Is it almost the March Madness trip, Tyler, that you take with your brothers?
It is. I'm not going. I have to coach, but yeah. And March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, I believe.
Arizona, I saw lost pretty bad to Iowa State yesterday.
They got smoked. Caleb Love did Caleb Love things.
He did. At least there was no foul at the end that cost you the game. At least you could sleep easy on that one. Is Curry the one versus Memphis? His long shot in the playoff. Speaking of the one he made the other day against Orlando, they had they had these as his like farthest shots that his career. This is the one versus the Clippers back in 2017. They say that one was from 51 feet. He had that one, the slide, as everybody remembers. Here's the one from the yesterday or Thursday. He hits that one. Can't give him any room, Johnson. He's dangerous from anywhere. He gets that one as well. Here's one from 2016 against Utah. That was a crazy year because I remember he hit that one, and then like a couple weeks later, he hits 2 versus Indiana in the same game, not from as deep, but it's 2 like half court shots basically at the buzzer. And then here's the one in the playoffs. This was kind of the big one. I always felt like, just because obviously it's a playoff game, and that was game 4, I think it was, or maybe game 6. Yeah, game 6. Yep, game 6. So those are the ones there. I always thought were kind of his kind of moments for me were big. So what is it the Memphis one for you?
I felt like a comparison would be like prime Adam in high school because you would have those long shots every once in a while.
I am not gonna put number 30's name. I am not. I will not.
I'm just talking about that kind of shot. It seemed like Adam would always do it.
Adam's ego is going through the roof.
I'm not comparing him to Curry as a player. I'm just saying that reminds me of shots that Adam would make. The long, like you wouldn't think he would be able to do it. I'm saying pre-Achilles, Adam.
Yeah, but Steph gets back on defense, damn it.
Wow.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Speaking of March Madness, I always like to get Tyler's favorite highlight.
Shot clock turned off. Game clock at 8. He's going to do it himself. Thomas, shake, crossover, step back. At the buzzer, Young, see, Washington wins it.
Oh, that's gonna get you jacked up for a little pat. That's gonna jack you up for a little March Madness. Tyler, you didn't even like that Arizona team. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know. No, it's just the Gus call there gets you a little motivated there when you see that in the other. It's just as good. That was good stuff there. So that's getting closer. We're getting closer to a little March Madness as we finally in the conference tournaments that we've talked about, or I don't even know where the hell they are. There's 38 teams in each conference tournament, but it is what it is still. But it's always good when you play elimination basketball. So that's kind of the way I look at it as we get closer to that time there with it. So, all right, Brian, before I get to what I had, what was your movie picks this week? I didn't have anything, but you said you had a couple for us.
I'm going to go Charlie Sheen today. Right. Wall Street versus Hot Shots.
I go Wall Street.
Have you guys even seen Hot Shots?
I have seen Hot Shots.
I don't know. Let me look up Hot Shots. I might have seen it.
It's kind of like they're spoofing Top Gun.
Yes. That one is kind of funny, and Charlie Sheen does play that part pretty well, but I gotta go that one.
Yeah, I've never seen Hot Shots, so I'll go Wall Street.
Chase?
I haven't seen either one of them, so I know Charlie Sheen's a great actor, but those two don't ring a bell with me, Brian.
Wall Street, I remember seeing a film study in high school, and then they made the second one not too long ago. What's your other one, Johnson?
Then my other one is going to be Billy Bob Thornton. I'm going.
Right. You go Billy Bob. I like it.
Yeah. There's one called School for Scoundrels. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's the guy that's from Napoleon Dynamite. It's really funny. He's basically running a school because they don't have any confidence, and he turns them like where they can get women, or He's like, I want some lions out of this class.
No, it's what was the other one?
And then the other Billy Bob one would be Armageddon.
Armor what? No,
Armageddon.
That was such a.
Always the best one from the movie.
If you were on the pregame mic, you know what we're talking about with Armageddon. You're on the
I'll just
pregame.
tell you, the only reason I know about that is because of Speed. Sandra Bullock, and she makes Armageddon.
That's so funny. Though. I go Armageddon. It's still. I've always said it's kind of a little cheesy, the idea that you're shooting up to an asteroid, but.
But I mean, you guys should check out School for Scoundrels. It's really funny.
Don't you think Armageddon would be easier to train an astronaut to be a driller than a driller to become an astronaut? Like, that's the part that never made sense for me for Armageddon. Like, all right, this is.
Yeah, but I mean, Bruce Willis, he could do it all. That's the
I thought that was the funniest when he was like, "What is this? An ice cream scoop?"
What was the other movie thing I had? Well, obviously he was 95 years old, but Gene Hackman. A lot of the movies we've had on him, he passed away. What's your go-to? What's your first like Gene Hackman movie you think of, T?
The first one most people don't think of, which I'll go with, is The Quick and the Dead with Russell Crowe, Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like this like Western kind of. It's an okay movie, but it has a lot of star power. It's pretty good.
I just saw the other day Crimson Tide for the first time, and Denzel's in that with Gene Hackman. Obviously, that's pretty good. I always thought he gave a great performance in Mississippi Burning. That one, it's an intense movie on racism in Mississippi. I think Whoopi Goldberg's in that, right? It came out way back in the day. I want to say that was. I always liked him in Enemy of the State. As well, and then kind of an
oh yeah, that's right. He was in that one, Darren. You're right. I forgot.
And then he played Lex Luthor in Superman. He was good at that.
Yeah, he was in that one as well. Which one did you forget about, Case?
I thought you were another one. I was thinking Behind Enemy Lines.
Oh, he was. I love him in that one too. He was even in The Firm. I like that one too. He was good there with that.
Unforgiven's a really good movie too.
Yeah, he's great in that one.
With Clint Eastwood, I believe, is in that.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. And then, obviously, the movie that I said is too white for me, but Hoosiers is a great movie.
That's a good movie. Mississippi Burning came out in 1988. You know the guy that plays, is it the original Spider-Man? And then the bad guy in that one? What's
Tobey Maguire?
No, the original bad guy.
Oh,
he plays a young detective as well in that movie. Yeah,
William Dafoe?
Yeah,
William Dafoe is in it as well. Tyler, you would like that movie. It's good. Like I said, it's intense, but it's a good movie.
Nothing like a little racism for breakfast.
No, I may wait for after basketball practice. Yeah, so he was in that one as well. But I just always think of him because he had so many good movies, and so he was always one of those guys.
They were saying Gene Hackman's, I believe his roommates were Martin. God, I heard it the other day, but it's pretty incredible. There was two other guys. I'm blanking on them now. I apologize, but it was pretty incredible. I think it was Robert Duvall and Martin Short. I could be wrong, but they were all together, like three guys that were growing up, and they were all roommates. And he's 16 years old, and and the three guys ended up being obviously just top-notch actors. So
yeah,
I wish I had those names right for you guys. I apologize.
It's probably not Martin Short, but yeah.
I think one movie we didn't mention that all four of us I know have seen, I'd imagine anyway, I'd be shocked, is The Replacements.
Oh, yeah. What a performance as the coach there. Is he believable in that one, right? That was
believable.
Hey, Brian.
It's good performance in the Sugar Bowl, Shane.
Brian, I got to ask you. If winners want the ball, right?
Winners want the ball. He has so many. Whenever I think of that movie, I always like Gene Hackman's the only one that could pull it off because I feel like they got all those like coaching lines out of like a fortune cookie or something like that. They're all like these obvious, obvious like kind of coaching lines and like motivational stuff. So it always cracks me up but he got me. That was a good one with them. He did it's like a random movie I find funny is The Birdcage. and he's in that one as well. Where like Robin Williams, they play these 2 gay guys, and they have a son from. He has a son from a straight marriage, and then he plays like the government official, like the senator or something like that, and his wife's married. It's kind of funny to see him and Robin Williams together in some of this stuff. So. Yeah,
have you guys ever seen Get Shorty with?
I gotta watch that one.
Travolta?
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a good movie too.
Yeah, I saw that was on the list for a lot of the ones too with him. So that's definitely Crimson Tide is the one I got to. We saw Denzel in it too, so I was like, I gotta go Alabama. I'll go Alabama. Crimson Tide.
Didn't they say his wife and his dog passed with him too? Correct.
Yeah. Something happened crazy.
Yeah.
The carbon monoxide. They were saying something like that, but. Sometimes you kind of think like a suicide thing, maybe it was something like that, right? I don't know. Yeah, but who knows? Like maybe
the dog died too.
That's why I said carbon monoxide. Yeah, it's like Dave Chappelle. Shoot the dog for. We got
Casey. His roommate was Dustin Hoffman.
There you go. An actor. There you go. I knew it was someone famous in that area.
He was a Fokker from the second Meet the Parents.
No, Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, he was there. Yeah, so Gene Hackman, one of the guys. I mean, he was actually probably more my parents' generation in terms of where they were, growing up with the 70s and 80s. But he did have. That's how good of an actor he was, as I remember from Enemy of the State and all those ones too. So, all right, winners and losers of the week here. With it, Brian, where do you want to start us out?
I'm gonna go winner of the week. I'm definitely gonna go Luka because he's brought an energy to the Lakers that we haven't seen in a while. So
2 seed Lakers, that's what we're getting. 2 seed Lakers. Are you gonna get the 2 seed there with it? He has made a difference. He offensively is gonna do things. We'll see if they can keep climbing. It still has a lot to do with that LeBron guy as well, but who's not aging. It's gonna be like Tom Brady and play till he's 45 or something. Casey, who do you got for winner of the week?
This is a little tough one, but I don't know if you guys caught the Maryland basketball game. Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't see that one.
That was an amazing, like the last, the guy, I think there's about 5 seconds less. The guy tried to attempt a 3 and he hit front rim. And then the guy on the other team, I think it was Michigan State, heaved it like Steph Curry from half court and just went straight into the hoop. And it was just like, oh, like you go from winning to tying and then just you lost the game. And it was incredible. I was like, holy crap. I was like, it looked like a heat seeker, like Steph Curry. Like you could hear it hit the rim and it was like clunk. I was like, you can't even like.
How far do you shoot it from?
I would say about 10 feet behind the half court line.
Okay.
It was like a heat seeker, dude. I mean, you heard it in like the sound. It was just like clunk. And it was just like hit the rim and the net.
Great microphone in that rim.
Dallas Mavericks rims. Dallas Mavericks. That's what I used to always joke about with the Mavericks.
It was spectacular.
I saw Michigan had a one at the buzzer the other day too.
What I'm talking about. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, Michigan State.
Michigan just had a 3-pointer. It wasn't a half court shot or something, but I saw they won at the buzzer as well the other day. All right, good choice there as we're getting ready for getting closer to March Madness here. Tyler, what do you got?
I got hockey helmets for the outdoor games in Columbus. They kind of replicated the NFL helmets. The Red Wings had the wings going on their helmet. Columbus had their logo with a number on one side. It looked pretty cool. I'm surprised more hockey teams don't kind of lean into having logos on the side of their helmet. I thought it was cool. And then Dan Hurley, not very often I give this man praise, but with a minute left, they're playing Providence. They're blowing them out. They called timeout. 2 walk-ons for Providence came in who never scored points. They're like fifth-year seniors, and one got a free throw and one hit a jumper, so they all got it was just a little happy moment.
That's a good call there. The hockey game, is that one at Ohio State? That's where they're playing, right? Yeah, at the shoe over there. I had science camp in Santa Cruz this week with Derek. I was kind of
How were the stars?
The stars were nice. They had to do a night walk. You had to walk like, I don't know, maybe like 1,000 feet in the dark, basically, from one spot to another. Like they had to do some kind of stuff like that. But it was cool spending time with him. But I was a chaperone too, so I was with a few other boys from his class in a bunk bed. It's kind of and the best part was is they couldn't take technology with them. So like they literally were just like kids out there like coming up with games and like so it was kind of fun to do that with them. But it was a long week eating camp food for 3 days. You had to go up at you had to get up at 7 and lights out at 9:30. They had you on you had like 2 classes a day that you had to be. And like I said, they were chaperoning a little bit. And then we also had 9 other girls. We only had one mom for that. So, but it was a good time. Out there doing that. It was a long week. We actually were supposed to come home Friday, but they had something go wrong at their camp, so we actually came home Thursday night. Got home about 10 o'clock. They did stop at Chick-fil-A. It's so funny. Like I forget, like when kids like how dorky you are towards things that are you kind of think it's funny. Like they're like this girl Savannah bought 2 large Dr. Peppers. I was like, has she not heard her refills? I was like, what's going on? and she weighs like 40 pounds soaking wet. I was like, no wonder. I was like, oh, what's that? So everybody was all jacked up on the ride home after that. You would think they'd be tired. They were not. They did like a 6-hour hike earlier before that. So that, speaking of college basketball, St. John's wins the Big East for the first time since 1985. I was 1 year old. That's crazy to think about that. St. John's, they won it there. And then
from Healdsburg?
From Healdsburg, they won it. They got the job done. And then I don't know, Johnson, is this winner of the week?
There is your main event for WrestleMania. John Cena.
Right to the bar.
And then they let Travis Scott beat him up too.
Oh man, that was good stuff there with it. That's the winner of the week, John Cena. Everybody, we like him going to heel. That's not a bad little.
I want him to come out with slick back hair and a suit and go, "You guys make me sick" to the crowd.
So he's going full heel. They got I like the nickname. Somebody said the Hollywood heels. I like that. Wasn't a bad little nickname, but that the Hollywood. Casey, you think you like right move?
I loved it. Yeah, I mean, Cody, wasn't going to sell out, and it was the best because it was on Peacock, and I don't know, and I had it blasting when I got home, and I kind of rushed out of Darren's last championship game and came home to watch the last of the main event, and my mom's there, and my dad and my sister, and it just goes, "F you, Rock."
All right, whoa.
WWE.
It's like, then that part where the Rock did the John Cena. I was like, I love this. I told my mom, she's like, I don't get it. It's like, this is like the All My Children for men. I was like,
yeah, exactly. Is
this
John
is
Cena
hospital for men? I was like,
I just am gonna be interested because he's never been a heel before. How they handle his character moving forward.
And obviously he doesn't get tans. We know that. So his skin is always there. I mean, one of the whiter wrestlers of all time. Tyler, what do you got for loser of the week? And maybe some thoughts on Cena there if you got one.
As far as Cena, I wish he just wasn't an underling to The Rock. I wish that's the part that bugs me about him being coming to heel. I think he's going to be a great heel. He knows how to play in the crowd and do all that stuff. So it's going to be fun. I just wish The Rock wasn't part of this in a way, but it is what it is. My loser is boxing. They seem to make this list every month. Tank fights some guy named Roach. He's like a 1,500 favorite. And he takes a knee because he gets some grease from his hair in his eye. They don't take away a point. They don't do anything. And then they end up in a draw. I don't know. It's just a mess. It's boxing. Nothing ever makes sense.
It's the weirdest sport. It's so bad around it. It's just, we've always said that. Like they just never get the best matchups at the best time, and they never promote it when it's always a disaster. With that.
Yeah.
That's a good loser of the week. Brian, what do you got?
I'm gonna go to the Chicago White Sox. A center fielder took the ball off the dome, and then I heard somebody on Instagram say we're so back. So it's gonna be another long year for the White Sox. Could they possibly be worse this year than they were last year?
Gosh, that's hard to think about if you're worse than last year. Set the all-time record and you're worse. Come on, Andrew Vaughn. Come on, Andrew. Have a good year. We got to go through that.
Get them traded.
Who do you got for loser, Casey?
This one's gonna date back a little bit, but I kind of remember.
1974.
So it is Darren is loser of the week.
What's it?
Who?
Best shooting guard for 2023, and this is Darren's list. He said Devin Booker number 1, which I agreed with him,
Not terrible.
and then he went Klay Thompson number 2. There you go. I don't know about that. I had Donovan Mitchell number 2. Me and Darren. It was just us two on it, and then he goes Ant number 3. I had Ant number 3. And this is where Darren just goes hell. I don't know what the hell goes on. I had Jaylen Brown number 4. Darren goes
He's a small forward.
Donovan Mitchell. And then Darren goes insane. It goes Bradley Beal at number 5, Desmond Bain, and Jordan Poole at number 8 or number 9.
Jordan was playing well. Jordan was playing well.
Did not age well when I was watching that.
Other than maybe the Jordan one and the Clay, I'm going to fight back on a few of those. Desmond Bain's still a good shooting guard. You got to give me a little credit there.
Top 5.
That's funny.
I thought
No, that's good. I know. I listened back to some. If you ever listen back to your old takes, it's kind of funny to think about what you said and things because in the moment that's how you feel. So it is what it is. But
I was like,
yeah.
Beal, Poole, they both play for the Wizards now.
What did you draw that on a piece of cardboard?
Yeah, I got done.
I'm impressed with your handwriting. That was nice.
That was through Crayola too.
I put that sign up again. I'm impressed by that sign. I want to get more of that. Look at that. That's impressive right there. That is where best shooting guard Darren was wrong. I like that. That's good. I like that. I'm willing to take a little shot at it. I guess Tyler's got to go. Come on, Tyler. I thought practice was at 9 o'clock. What are you doing? We're up here at 6:30. This guy's out there. I'm just kidding.
That's a fine for Tyler. $5 for leaving.
$5 fine. $5 fine. All right. So my loser of the week was this Pete Rose stuff. Again, he's getting whatever. He's getting pardoned. That doesn't bother me. But then Manfred again's talking about it after Trump pardons him a little bit. But it's like, my gosh, we always do this after the people pass away. And I don't know. I just always it's always weird with baseball, this stuff when they do the Pete Rose stuff. And then I'm going to go Brian Raider rumors. Those were that was my other. We got it. He's getting me all excited about Matthew. He's telling me
it's like, I guess Brian can't ever be wrong.
No.
It's the first time.
If I take Jordan Poole, if I take Jordan Poole at number 8, right? We both were wrong, Brian. All right, we're both wrong.
You said number 9.
No, I'm just giving you a bad time. It was because I was gone, so I'm like getting these kind of in spots, right? Seeing, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is true. And then I'm like, oh, was not the case. So Brian, we're like you said, now we're putting the chips on trading up for the Raiders. So that's what we got.
Darren had a better chance of seeing Bill Nye, the science guy, at camp than he did the Matthew Stafford going to the Raiders.
Yeah, well, hopefully, like I said, maybe it's not A-Rod to the Raiders that next with it. So,
yeah.
All right, boys, good show this week. Tyler, have a good week with it. Brian, have a good week out there in SoCal. Enjoy it out there, Case. Good to see you on the show again. Appreciate the energy, passion, love, desire, all that good stuff. So good week ahead. See how the Debs do, and see if maybe there's any more moves here in the NFL as they get ready for. But they still got people in tight pants running stuff, so they got that going on right now at the combine, and then the draft rumors. Brian, they're gonna come. What did they say? Hot and heavy here shortly. That's what they're coming. These rumors. The mock drafts are gonna be going crazy. This is where the hair of Mel Kiper makes his money. And maybe I should let it grow out and just do Mel Kiper hair for the draft, and let it get around my ears and let it get nice and fluffy. I got to work on that part of it. So,
Brian, I will see you at a Starbucks. Don't get me wrong. I will see you.
I will see you again. I will see you again. All right, just a little shout out to my mom. She always sings as well as we're getting off the podcast. All right, let's turn out the lights.
The lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. Believe it. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.
Shout out to my mom with that one. Turn out the lights. Fatboy FadeAway is over for episode 214.